I love. I love the fact that I've gone from using story mode to just pausing the stream while I try and work things out. Now, a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. 3rd November, 8:07 p.m. Sholmes Suite. Iris, I thought you were saving that turkey until Christmas. We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it. I believe you had an even more wearing day than Mikotoba and I knew. You could say that. We were on the brink of defeating court earlier. So, this prosecutor, Sergei, had you on the ropes, did he? He was your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Cosmo's changed. Oh, Miss Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. He was never dead. Unless... So a better term would have been last time I encountered him, he wasn't conscious. Mr. Sholmes still hadn't told us the truth about what really happened back then, about the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey on the way to France. Well, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes, so what news of Judge Jigoku? We took him to Scotland Yard to investigate. I have a lot of questions for man. Poor Professor Mikotoba, this must be quite a shock for him. Ah yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put upon you for the matter only yesterday. You put upon me, Sholmes? I had to fill out your... You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and put the bill as well. Oh, you've had a reply already? What was so urgent, though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present. That's good news, because supper is ready, everyone. And be careful not to open that dresser and get punched in the gut again. Open that table, rather. That crate. Ah, and what a feast it is! If I weren't none the wiser, I'd think the trials were won anyway, already. Roast beef, kipper, stew, steak and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding. Tomorrow could be a very long day, so we thought. In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set for helping a peasant, if I... Oh, sorry, Hurley, not now. I am not. Are we in set places this evening? Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy. For me? That's right, I mean especially for you, Professor Mickey. I see. Well, that's very kind of you. It's a shame, really. What do you mean? Well, for a brief moment I believed it. That Susie and I were half sisters, I mean. Oh! Iris, do you mean... Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened in the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left. What? What? The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. Actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris' father. Yes, about that, Iris. I know, you can't tell me at the moment. Oh, Iris. The pheasant is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping. Oh, she sure composed herself quickly after that breakdown. God, that was one of the times I wish I wasn't right. Oh, no, that's quite alright. Then why don't I get any apologetic pheasant? So just who is Iris' father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. So then, let us dine, while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. A fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious. Eat as much as you like, there are only seconds. Here's gonna be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trip. Coming on telegram from Japan and about Kazuma. Can't let that opportunity slip away. Oh god. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. But nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from this social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes. Sorry, honey, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy. Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer. Mr. Sholmes, could I discuss some things with you? Certainly, my dear fellow. I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt, you're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game. I can probably contain my curiosity on that one. You needn't look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some other unpheasant matters to discuss. A telegram from Japan. So what was in the telegram you received back from Japan then? Ah, this? I thank my lucky stars it arrived in time. Record is indicated. Duplicate follows. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. What? Those 4 names. We've come across that exact list before. It came up in that unforgettable case last spring. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. A plot that involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states. Exposing the means by which those secrets are being leaked, we deciphered the fragment of a message. Which also cost me my job. K. Sogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over, and we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. Yes, because Renosuke was suspended then, if I remember correctly. All we knew was that the information had been sent by somebody in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are names coming up again now? Yes! Where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes? I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names. Need by tomorrow. Now here do. Sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you? And in my name? I wonder what guise he opted for this time. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand. Anyway, a list of names was found in Seisho's office, as Sholmes predicted. So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was... It was sent to Judge Jigoku? He was the intended recipient. I don't believe it. Yeah, that would explain why... When you fucked up in the first trial, he mentioned sending a message over to Britain. But that doesn't answer the question of what list of names actually signifies. Because of its contact in Britain. I did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. That tragedy we had to go over in the SS Burrier was all for nothing. Cosmo wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. And I was nearly arrested because of you. I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. What? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Miss Shisato. And then I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain instead. Oh my, you mean... The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Soki, I was successfully prevented the man from arriving on our shores for 7 years at least. Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Cosmo coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruto. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In light of Mr. Sogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Feels weird seeing you in that outfit in a scene from Grey's Attorney 1. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. There is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. So, you manipulate me? I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. I don't believe it! I don't believe it. But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. The woman was mistakenly arrested as a perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her? Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. I seem to remember Mr. Sato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure. I wonder if she made it to America then. I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain? The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of the impending tragedy, you see. Oh, an omen that, at this very moment in time, is close at hand. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. Linked to the Professor case, no doubt. We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. What? Reverse. What do I need to give her? Ew, think I need the weeks. Oh god, I'm gonna Were you? But if somebody like me would be worthy, I'd be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yes, without question. Bear in mind that everything I said before I went down to do my exercise was just hypothetical. So you'll teach me all the ways you know to put your nose to the floor? Yes, of course. You didn't have to agree. Agree? What? You didn't have to agree quite so readily. Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's going to be my big sister, you can be my big brother if you want, you know? Huh? I mean, yes, of course. If you'll have me, I'm glad to be your brother. Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I raised you so well. Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally. Right, I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now. This is for my big brother and sister. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what? You'll just have to wait and see. Oh. Good looking for tomorrow. I'm expecting a stirring performance. I'll do my very best, of course. So you're breaking the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point. Exposing new truths while supposing new conundrums. A list of 4 names in the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office. I'm guessing the names at the top are the assassins, the bottoms are the targets. No. And the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. Felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. At the same time, because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. Save. Fourth November, 9:30 AM. The Old Bailey Courtroom. Before we begin today, I have a brief announcement. As with the closed trial 10 years ago, some astonishing facts have come to light in these proceedings. The revelation that the well-known Reaper is actually an organization illegally executing its own brand of justice, and the discovery that a respected yard inspector was at its heart until he himself perished in an assassination plot. Well, I say to all members of the judiciary here presenting on this occasion that we will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Counsels, you will undertake this trial with resolve to pursue the truth to the bitter end. Resolve, yes, that's my intention. My lord, if you may inquire. The defendant may speak. On what grounds is Kazuma Sogi permitted to continue in his role as prosecutor? He has admitted to colluding with the victim in a plot to assassinate an innocent man. He shouldn't be enjoying the privilege of freedom, let alone be leading the prosecution. I submitted a written petition to Lord Strongheart, requesting that judgment of my transgressions be delayed by 1 day. You did what? In today's proceedings, I intend to expose everything. My whole life, for the last 10 years, has all been leading up to this 1 day. Kazuma, whatever the outcome of this trial, I give my word now, I will accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, however severe. And I suggest you prepare yourself for the same. I get a distinct impression we're heading into very dangerous territory. Is that really even Cosmosama standing before us? As an extreme exception to normal practices, I have granted this prosecutor's request. The defense finds this acceptable, I presume? Yes, my lord. In that case, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed hearing of Baroque von Zeeks. The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Very well then. This preamble has taken long enough. Prosecutor Sogi, begin. As you wish, my lord. The prosecution calls the first witness to the stand. Bring Seisho Jigoku into the court. At last then, we've reached the final battle. He's putting literally everything on the line now in order to get to the truth. Come on, Rinosuke, it's time for that feeling resolved, because this is going to test it to the limit. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Ha! So it was you who issued this, was it? Yes, Sir Perona. I did what was necessary. Ha 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 ha. Well, look what the young man has become. I didn't think I'd see the day when you'd take that tone in me, I must say. The witness will ensure his responses are pertinent to the questions asked. My name is Seisho Jigoku, a Supreme Court judge from the Empire of Japan. 16 years ago, this man came to London as a visiting student. 6 years later, he returned to Japan. As well as presiding over the Supreme Court, he is also currently Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. I am, of course, fully aware of Mr. Jigoku and his preeminent roles. I invited him personally to the International Forensic Science Symposium as representative of his country. I hear he also played a key role in the conclusion of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. It was a great honor to be involved in the negotiations. I put my own into that treaty. Judge Jigoku, I must ask. Well, I never fancied the young murdering student ending up here of all places. You acquitted me yourself. And now, I'm a practicing defense lawyer. Yes, and full of self-importance like your friend across the courtroom, I see. You came here to London by invitation to the International Forensic Science Symposium, but then, without informing anyone of your plans, you took flight to France. Took flight? I have to object to that turn of phrase. Then explain yourself. What exactly were the circumstances? Well, I was somewhat expecting this. And I'm sorry to say, I decline to comment. What? Leaving the country prematurely when I was an invited guest may be questionable etiquette, but my decision is unrelated to this case. I can't be bound to testify. Unrelated, you say? I appreciate that a respected police suspect has been killed, for which I offer my condolences. However, being an alien, I'd obviously never met the man, nor do I know the first thing about him. As such, I'm in no position to testify. It's as simple as that. So you would run from all this? I beg your pardon? This case is more far-reaching than the murder of Inspector Gregson. It has ties to another murder, a case that was tried in Japan almost a year ago now. A year ago in Japan. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, and you, Judge Jigoku, are at the heart of both cases. The defense has evidence to prove it. Well, Rinosuke, I see from the look in your eyes that you're resolved to carry us through to the very end, too. Let's see your evidence, then. Examine.
Take that!
This is a telegram detailing a communication sent between Britain and Japan approximately 1 year ago. The communication contained 4 names: K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson. You little... Where did you get that? In Tokyo. From your office, Judge Jigoku. What? How on earth did you... What's all this? What's this all about? Where's my name on the list? This list of 4 names follows a certain pattern. T. Gregson and J. Wilson are names of victims. K. Sogi and A. Shin are names of assassins. No! A year ago in Tokyo, Dr. John H. Wilson's life was taken in a Western-style restaurant in the capital. The culprit was found to be a visiting student who went by the name of Giselle Brett, but her real name was Asa Shin, a professional killer sent on a mission to kill from Great Britain. A. Shin and her victim J. Wilson. And the murder that just took place here in London was the counterpart to that crime, an assassin sent from Japan, also a visiting student, Kazuma Asogi, whose victim was the British police inspector Tobias Gregson. K. Asogi and T. Gregson. One assassin from each country to kill a target residing in the other. What exactly is the defense suggesting? These 2 cases of murder, one that took place in Britain and one in Japan, were masterminded by a pair of individuals from each country as a form of assassination exchange, and the telegram the defense has acquired is proof of this international contract to kill. What? The telegram was found in your office, Judge Jigoku. In other words, the mastermind in Japan was you. Judge Jigoku? What's this all about? And you, Kazuma, you lied. During yesterday's proceedings, you acknowledged that you'd accepted the assassination mission, but the mark wasn't Judge Jigoku at all. It was T. Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard, as shown by the name on this killing contract. Very impressive, Ryunosuke. But actually, I didn't lie. The name of the target I was ordered to kill never passed my lips yesterday. The idea of saying sure Jigoku was a mark came entirely from you. Ah! You deliberately avoided saying a name. The defense claims these 4 names indicate some sort of international assassin exchange. I'm sure I speak for all present when I say that the very idea seems utterly absurd. Bit quick to dismiss the idea, aren't you? Did you forget that Watson and Gregson are dead? Well, Mr. Jigoku, what do you have to say for yourself? Silence only goes to prove his guilt. There's another very important point that this new development brings to light. There's now a distinct possibility that the scene of Inspector Gregson's actual murder was in the witness's cabin aboard the SS Grouse. Judge Jigoku, you have to testify now. To refuse will put you in contempt of court. There's no need for quite such a vicious stare, young man. Very well then, as a parting gift to you all, I'll tell you everything I know. It seems this Japanese gentleman has information that the court must hear about the alleged assassin exchange and the events of the night of the 31st October. Present your formal testimony now. As you wish, my lord. Witness testimony. It's true that Cosmo Stogie was assigned the assassination mission 1 year ago now. The target was Inspector T. Gregson, and that was a condition of the British study tour. However, in the end something happened that meant the young man was able to carry out the mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times. If there'd been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved. Wait, was this in the wall? I forgot. So you admit it then? As this communication suggests, there really was an assassin exchange arrangement between Britain and Japan? A political endeavour at the highest levels. Not something I can discuss here. To use such a worthy practice as foreign study to coerce someone to commit murder is lowest of low, simple as. It's the most appalling thing I've ever heard. And from a judge, no less. Appalling? Well, it's easy to judge. Pardon? Stogie had a reason for taking a sword to that British inspector, you know. What? Which is why he accepted the mission in the first place. Isn't that right, Counsel? Kazuma-sama. Judge Jigoku, if you're the mastermind behind this operation in Japan, then tell the court the identity of your counterpart in Britain. I'm not obliged to divulge that information. As I said yesterday, I've killed nobody. I freely admit that I accepted the mission, but on the night the plan was to be executed, I backed out. In short, this assassin exchange, that the defense has identified, is unrelated to the events in this case. The crucial point is this. Your police inspector can't have perished aboard that steamship in Dunkirk, because if he'd been shot in the cabin, it's inconceivable that a member of the crew wouldn't have heard it. That's right. Gregson was killed after returning to London, in the room on Fresno Street. And the perpetrator of the crime was the Reaper, Baruch von Zieks. The prosecution's accusation remains unchanged. To think that a seemingly innocent foreign exchange program was a facade for such Machiavellian dealings. Clearly it's a plot only a government minister and... Clearly it's a plot only a government minister and high-ranking judge such as the witness could hope to execute. Well, I seem to recall that there was someone on the British side who controlled everything. Be that as it may, it is not the place of this court to pursue this villainous assassin exchange plot. We are concerned only with the tangible events pertaining to the murder of Inspector Gregson. Is the defense clear on that point, Counsel? Bit quick to dodge the topic now, aren't you, Strongheart? Yes, my lord. I'll keep that in mind as I cross-examine the witness.
Hold it!
A year ago, when Cosmo was still in Japan then. Correct. It was at an examination center for applicants for the study tour that I approached him. I'll never forget it. I remember exactly what you said. You just came out and asked me forthright if I'd consider travelling to Britain on an assassination mission. Surely not. I thought it was a joke at first, of course, but then it was made clear to me that if I didn't accept, I wouldn't be considered for the study tour. So you agreed to it just for that? I mean, I know how much you wanted to study in England, but assassination? The Empire of Japan had accepted a proposal from the British Empire at the time, an agreement to send a student from every country, from each country to the others, to deepen cultural understanding and friendship. But behind the scenes, the chosen students were to be given assassination missions. I had no choice but to accept the proposal that originated from my British counterpart. Why? Why didn't you expose the plot now and then? Britain acknowledges no part in these alleged misbegotten dealings. I advise you not to make spurious allegations, Foreign Minister Jigoku. As a witness, I am bound to tell the truth, my lord. Anyway, I picked the Sogi and explained the details of the plan to him.
Objection!
Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna have to press some more details then.
Hold it!
Why Kazuma? Why did you pick him as the assassin? He was the most capable of all the applicants, and in addition, I knew his desire to travel to Britain was very strong. In fact, it was almost more than a desire, it was his whole purpose in life. Yes, as his best friend, I can certainly attest to that. The way he threw himself into his studies, the way he pursued becoming qualified as a lawyer, it was all ultimately for that one single goal of being accepted on study toward Britain. And of course, we know the reason behind that. He was determined to find out for himself the truth about his father, Genshin Asogi. There's nothing I wouldn't have done to get him. He left me to assume the role of an assassin or betraying people's trust. Well, you certainly did a fine job of betraying mine, Asogi. But why was Inspector Gregson the target? I have no idea. Those were the orders from Britain. I was in no position to question them. Because he's a figure of power, everyone's referred to him as the legendary Inspector. You have no idea? Really? I find that hard to believe. Oh, do you? Judge Jigoku was once a visiting student here in Britain himself, of course. Perhaps he has some connection with Inspector Gregson from that time. The friends really ought to catch up. God! I just went into Stronghouse books. For what? When in fact, none of the assassin exchange has absolutely nothing to do with the case under scrutiny here. Yes, I've already admitted to recruiting Asogi. I presume you're referring to the incident that occurred during Kazuma's passage to Britain in January? The awful tragedy that took place on the steamer ship? Word arrived at the ministry some 2 weeks after the ship's departure from our shores. A visiting student had been killed, but his body had somehow gone missing in Hong Kong. News was lied to me from a detective I'd placed on the ship to accompany the assassin. Obviously, Kazuma didn't actually die at all, but he did lose his memory, including all details about his special mission. Did you not consider dispatching another assassin at that point? That was impossible, simply because that black-clad young student over there, they put himself forward as Asogi's replacement, and there was no way to stop him from reaching Britain. My hands were completely tied. So Mr. Sholmes' strategy worked perfectly. He predicted everything that would happen. Months later, my memory returned. I'd never intended to go ruin the assassination mission anyway. So you were playing me right from the outset, were you? Is that it? I shouldn't be guilty of that crime and of taking someone else's life. I was prepared to do whatever I had to in order to get myself here to Britain. This line of questioning has gone on long enough. All the court should be concerned about in the testimony given by this witness are details relating to his relationship with Inspector Gregson and the victim's murder. In that case, as I've already made perfectly clear, I had no connection to Mano's death. You have some means of substantiating this plea. Our pick had an A-grade. Outside your cabin in the first-class area of the SS Grouse. Yes, that's right. Not least because there was a murder of a student passenger earlier in the year, I imagine. The line operators have taken to posting a crewman outside every first-class cabin door. I can confirm the presence of the crewman guard myself. What do you mean? Because I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk that night, I witnessed it with my own eyes. There was a well-built crewman standing guard directly in front of the door to the witness's cabin. At that particular time, of course, I'd gone to the ship's dining room for dinner. The inspector and I asked the crewman to allow us into the cabin while we waited for Judge Jigoku's return. I suppose Inspector Gregson was there in his capacity as a Reaper. He was intending to take the witness's life. Exactly, as I've said numerous times now, I had no intention of killing anyone. So the crewman let two potential assassins into the cabin he was supposed to be guarding. Not the most convincing of sentries, really. In truth, those were my thoughts too. But anyway, I stayed to talk with Inspector Gregson for a short while. Then I left him there and made my way off the ship alone. Was the guard still at the door when you went? Yes. He glared at me as I walked past. You see, that proves it. Will this work? I wonder. Probably not, so I'm saving it here in case.
Objection!
Yes, as the court has heard, there was a crewman posted outside Judge Jigoku's cabin. However, we can be sure that, contrary to the witness's claim, the guard wasn't there at all times. What? I have here a notice of a particular event that was scheduled to take place aboard the steamship on the 31st. What? Where did you get that? It's evidence gathered by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. You were acquainted yesterday, if you remember. Herlock Sholmes again? According to this itinerary, after leaving the port of Dunkirk at exactly 10 PM and for a period of 20 minutes, all crewmen of the SS Grouse would gather on deck for an evacuation drill. All crewmen were away from their posts? And during that 20-minute interval, of course, any gunshots emanating from your cabin would have been heard by no one. In summary, Judge Jigoku, you had ample opportunity to commit the crime.
Objection!
A 20-minute window of opportunity. That's an excellent find, Vinosky. But it amounts to nothing. Why? Because the witness clearly stated in his testimony that no incident occurred in his cabin. Unless you have some decisive evidence that can show his testimony to be false, the accusation is nothing more than conjecture. Very true. Well, Counsel? Inspector Gregson was killed in Judge Jigoku's cabin that night, I'm certain of it. But the defense has the evidence to prove it.
Take that!
Judge Jigoku, this was found in your cabin yesterday. What is that? The crown of a pocket watch? A pocket watch? And if you will observe, the victim's pocket watch, which we know he treasured, is missing precisely that part. It can't be! Oh wait, I just gave him Jigoku's voice. Moreover, this crown is a perfect fit on the spindle protruding from the victim's watch. Now, the fact that this was retrieved from Judge Jigoku's cabin tells us that the victim's watch almost certainly broke now. In other words, the victim was killed on the 31st during the 20-minute evacuation drill, in the cabin occupied by you, Judge Jigoku. Well, you're razor sharp, aren't you, you young murderer?
Objection!
Expertly maneuvered, Ryunosuke. And Jigoku, if you keep bringing that up, there really will be murder. And your argument sounds entirely plausible, at first. Rather like this pocket watch, it's full of cracks. What? And I believe Judge Jigoku feels the same way. I was wrong to acquit you earlier in the year. Sorry? If I'd known that it would result in anyone having to listen to this drivel, I would have declared you guilty just to spare the world's ridiculous bombast. I think it's clear that the witness will have to give further testimony. When you hear what actually happened in my cabin that night, you'll notice the pitfall into which you've stumbled. Prior to your renewed testimony, I'd like to clarify one point. The fact that this part of the victim's watch was discovered in your cabin means that you acknowledge he was there, I presume? Yes, I do. Very well then. You may proceed to give your former testimony about what exactly happened in your cabin aboard the ship on the evening of the 31st October. Of course, as a man of the law, I have no intention of obstructing justice. The events in the cabin. I had a guest waiting for me. Stay there. Making constant saves in case I have to escape save scum. When I walked through the door, a mustachioed Englishman was there, foolishly waving a gun at me. I soon took Kelvin with a nip on the sail wheel phono. He couldn't wait to run away after that. I imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. It has nothing to do with his murder. The inspector was clearly killed having returned to Britain because his body was found in London. Ippon Sui, a common jujutsu martial arts technique in my country. I was careful heavily for his watch to take. So, Ryunosuke no longer? I imagine you can see the flaw in your logic now, can't you? What? The fact that the pocket watch was broken in the witness's cabin in no way proves that the victim's murder took place there. Oh, I thought I'd gone out of it. Ah! I've no doubt the inspector intended to kill me, but he didn't manage to pull the trigger. Yes, because he was merely the tactician, not in Reaver's hand of death. Well, the testimony appears to make perfect sense as far as I can tell. Let me express my deep gratitude for your understanding, my lord. If this testimony holds, Judge Chikoku will be deemed to have had no involvement in the case. Well, counsel, I really see no reason for wasting precious court time here on no cross-examination. Sorry, my lord. The defense has the right to cross-examine, and I don't intend to squander that. You're an embarrassment to your countrymen, not knowing when you're beaten. In that case, proceed, Mr. Naruhodo. You're a disgrace to the countrymen. The events in the cabinet.
Hold it!
Because the so-called guard posted at your cabin door had just let your killer pass, you mean? Apparently, Gregson told the crewman he was a police inspector, which was the truth, of course. He wouldn't have had his identification. He had his trench coat and mustache, not to mention the bag of chips. I imagine the crewman was convinced that the man accompanying him would have had two swords slung around his waist. You mean me? Who else? Yes, that's true. You would have hoped the sight of a few swords might have set off alarm bells in the guard's head. The point is, I left the cabin before its occupant returned and immediately disembarked the ship. Certainly, all I can tell you is that only the inspector was waiting for me when I arrived back at my cabin. Did you enter without an inkling of suspicion? That's right, none whatsoever. I'm gonna be an idiot for trying this, but... So this is the type of revolver that's standard issue for members of the judiciary.
Objection!
I knew that wouldn't work. Just thought I might as well give it a try.
Hold it!
Obviously, you're talking about Inspector Gregson. Yes, I know at the time I didn't know the man's name. And there was no time for introductions. I value my life over matters. By which you mean that the inspector was there to assassinate you, I suppose? That was certainly an impression given by a gun pointing in my direction. I've never seen the muzzle of a revolver shake about so much in all my life. Anyone would think the man had never shot somebody before. Believe it or not, most of us haven't. Anyway, there was no time to call for the help from the crewman at the door, so I dealt with the man myself. Even though the man had a gun? That was a very brave move, wasn't it? Ha 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 ha. My upon sway is far faster than a bullet. But surely all that commotion caused the crewman to come in, didn't it? Yes, of course. He burst immediately without knocking. The inspector hurled himself at the stocky fellow and just managed to slip past him to make his escape. The outstanding guard does it again. Luckily, there aren't many situations I can't get out of using a quick Ippon sway move. Well,
Hold it!
Ow. The crown snapped off and the glass covering the face of the watch was cracked. Preferable to the man's head being pulled off or his spine cracking, wouldn't you say? Not that the man was spared for long. A bullet to the chest soon saw that. But the point is, the broken pocket watch doesn't prove that murder took place. Absolutely not. All the watch proves is the power of my jujitsu. Whatever you say, it doesn't quite ring true that no shot was fired in that cabin. Because there was an obvious bullet hole in the wall. What are you talking about? That's what the star of your low-browed detective stories told you, is it? Well, I don't care for such fiction. Haven't you worked it out yet, you little stripling? No murder took place in my cabin.
Hold it!
But there's no evidence that proves the victim ever returned to London alive. Just take a moment to think that idea of yours through now, stripling. What? If the inspector was killed on the steamship from France, how on earth could he have got back to Britain? When people die, their bodies remain at that same spot. It's a devil of a thing. Well, then, obviously the culprit must have moved the body. How exactly? Carrying a corpse off his shipping arms would raise a few eyebrows at least, don't you think? Well, yes, that's true, but all passenger luggage is inspected when it is unloaded from arriving vessels, and I would like to think that the border police would query the corpse of an English gentleman as hand luggage. If the murder taken would have been disposed of at sea, there would be no sense in risking being caught by attempting to transport body back to Britain. Let's kill now then. But perhaps not. Miss Usato, we have heard that the first-class passengers were under constant scrutiny by the crewmen posted to guard them, which would mean that the culprit had no opportunity to dispose of the body in the sea. Yes, that's true. So transporting the body to Britain may have been the only viable alternative. Dear me, you really are new to this, aren't you? I thought I'd been perfectly clear, but it seems I'm going to have to explain it to you in words you can understand. I think I ought to alter my testimony. With your consent, of course, my lord. I have no objection. State your amended testimony now. No way you could have...
Hold it!
I'm gonna press notion further. There's an idea. Think about it, stripling. All passengers and crew disembarked at the same time and passed through the same checks at the border. Symposium guests were then driven straight to the hotel in carriages organized by the ministry. We met you as soon as you arrived at the hotel. So you did. Well then, remind me, did I have a corpse over my shoulder at the time? What? No! So we're in agreement then. I couldn't possibly have brought the inspector's body back to Britain. Unless, of course, they've developed some clever device these days. Instantly move things from A to B. Funny you should say that. Professor Harebrain's invention didn't actually work, if you remember, Miss Naruto. Yes, of course. The defense has become unusually quiet, I notice. Yes, because there's really nothing more to say. So that's his story. Well, I suppose if you think about it, whenever you drop a teacup in the office and it breaks, we don't say, Miss Naruto must have been murdered now, do we? Is that a veiled threat about what might happen to me if I break another one? And the fact is that Inspector Jackson's body was found in the little room on Fresno Street. If he really was killed in Judge Jigoku's cabin, the body would have had to be moved somehow, obviously. Transporting a dead body over a country border that would be impossible for the majority of people. There must have been some special circumstances that made it possible to cope with it. That could be a vital realization, I think, Mr. Naruto.
Objection!
Nope. Wait, what if he uses the same...
Objection!
Nope. Looks like I'm gonna have to try and narrow this again.
Objection!
Transport material or...
Objection!
Ah,
Take that! Take that! Objection! Objection! that! Objection! Objection! Objection!